So, one thing that Vietnam has that other Asian countries do as well, and something I think is very interesting, are districts. Throughout the cities, what you find are district areas where they sell one particular type of item. Here I am in the religious district where they sell a lot of religious things, Buddha images and all sorts of religious symbols and deities and things like that. And so there's garment districts, there's the watch district, there's a hardware district, there's all these little districts or areas of the city where they actually sell one particular item. So it's really easy to find your item because you just go to that district and then check out your favorite store. If they don't have it, you go next door and you just keep doing that until you find what you need. And there's other districts too. So here we got the toy district where people just pull up on their motorbike and stop and grab a toy for their kids. They don't even have to go in. And as you can see along here, if you walk along here, you can see we're in the sunglasses district. Here's the sunglasses district. Doesn't matter what kind of sunglasses you want, you can find them here. You can even get eye exams here. So no matter what it is you're looking for in any of these major cities, or even the smaller ones as well, all you need to know is where the district is of the things you're looking for. So we're actually looking for a clothing repair place, and this seems to be the road where there's a lot of them. So as you can see, there's people doing leather work, clothing work along this street. So we're looking for a place to repair some shorts. So we're looking to replace a metal button, a pressed on button on a pair of shorts. So we'll see what we can find.
Đây có lẽ là ca khúc mà rất nhiều bạn khán giả chúng ta cũng rất yêu thích vậy. Ca khúc là một sáng tác của nhạc sĩ Đỗ Bảo, thể hiện ca sĩ Tân Minh. Ca khúc mang tựa đề Mắt Yêu Tình đầu tiên. Bây giờ các khán giả với số điện thoại 0165929566.
So the man charges 20,000 dong, which I think is about 89 cents, if I'm not mistaken, in US dollars. So there you go. We got our shorts repaired, and we're off down the road to find some more things to do. So we're in Hanoi. You're thinking about living in Hanoi. You think it might be a great place for a Ripper to retire. Let's talk about what it costs specifically to live here. My estimate is, and a lot of people back this that are living in Hanoi, is that you can live comfortably on $450 US a month. So let's talk about some specifics of that $450 and where some of that money might go and some of the costs. Let's talk housing for a second. If you want to live in Hanoi and you're looking for a one-bedroom apartment inside the city center, it's going to cost you about $335 a month. If you're thinking about living outside the city center, you can get a one-bedroom apartment for about $230 a month. Expect to pay about $12 a month for unlimited internet with an ADSL connection, and about for utilities, it's going to run you about $66 a month for about 85 square meter unit. So there you go. That's what it's going to cost you to get some housing, utilities, and some internet connection. How about meats? I don't eat beef or pork, but how about chicken? Chicken breast, boneless, skinless, $4.50 US for 1 kilo, which is 2.2 pounds. So a meal at an inexpensive restaurant, say like the way these people are eating, you can do this for $1.79 a meal. So how about some fresh baked bread? Fresh baked bread, you can get 500 grams of fresh baked bread for 91 cents.
So, you be careful. Phone. Over here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Yeah, very good. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Now there's an example. I actually thought she was a hawker trying to get my attention, which they'll do the same thing like the cyclo drivers here. What she was doing was very nicely saying, don't leave your pockets unzipped with things in them like your phone because there's pickpockets here. Very nice of her to do that. Actually, I refer to my phone for maps and everything else, so I'm constantly pulling it out of my pocket, but it's a good reminder, and here it is from a Vietnamese person reminding you about theft. Petty theft is really a problem in Vietnam, so protect your stuff, and I appreciate her trying to remind me of that. Anyway, back to the bread, 500 grams, 91 cents. If you want entertainment, a little bit of entertainment, say you want to have a beer. If you go someplace and have a beer, you might be sitting on kindergarten chairs, but if you want to go someplace and have a beer, say a half-liter domestic beer, it's going to cost you about 64 cents US. How about a pack of cigarettes, a pack of Marlboro cigarettes? It's going to cost you about $1.16 US. So there's a couple costs for some entertainment stuff. So how much is it, say, for a taxi to get around Hanoi? Well, for 1 kilometer, you can go 1 kilometer in a taxi for about 49 cents for 1 kilometer. So just extrapolate that out, and it gives you an idea how much it would cost if you forego the craziness of driving your own motorcycle or trying to park and drive your own car or whatever. 49 cents per kilo to go around in a taxi is an average here in Hanoi. Well, I'm speaking about prices. Another thing I want to remind you of is when it comes to like transportation, and I talk about the cost of transportation, say for a taxi, going to and from the airport, you can get quotes from hotels and stuff which has airport pickup. Airport pickup is pretty good because you don't have to deal with the stuff at the airport and the hawkers and all these things. And it could be more expensive that way. So if your hotel wants to pick you up, that's probably a good thing. But getting back to the airport, one of the costs here, you're going to get quoted $17, $20 to get to the airport in Hanoi. Here's a place that has airport taxi to the airport for only $12. So this is actually a really good deal. And so keep this in mind when you're going back to the airport. You can actually book the transportation to go back, and usually they'll pick you up at your hotel as well to take you back. So keep that in mind. $12 is a pretty good deal. So our Vietnam trip is coming to an end. So I've traveled pretty much a lot of the country in this 1 month that we've been here. So we've been flew into Hanoi, went to Đà Lạt, Nha Trang, Hue, Da Nang, Hoi An, Hanoi. Not sure if I'm forgetting anything or not. If you watch the series, you probably know more than I do. Anyway, so what's my general consensus? How do I feel about Vietnam for a ripper that's coming to live over here on a retirement pension? Well, let me tell you, I'm going to break this down into what I like, what I don't like, and some of the things that you might like and might not like depending on your situation. Some of these are going to be comparison to Thailand because this is what we do. My channel is about retiring and getting more life for less money. And a lot of the focus and a lot of people, the majority of people think Thailand is the best option. And it might be, depending on your criteria, what you want for your retirement to be like. So anyway, let's go through good, bad, and possibly good and bad. Let's start with good. One of the great things that I have found it to be pervasive in the country of Vietnam is the green areas. First of all, the country has a lot of natural beauty, and unlike Thailand, it's mostly been developed for farming or for cities or whatever, except up in the northern region, up in the mountains. Vietnam still has a lot of green area, undeveloped area, which is really great, and the beauty is phenomenal. The mountains, the beaches, it's just a great place to explore and appreciate nature. So there's green areas everywhere. There's parks everywhere. Nat noticed this when we first started traveling around, that in every city there were parks. There were green areas where people congregated, and it was more of a natural surrounding. Really great thing. And they were maintained very well. They're very clean. There's workers all the time passing through with brooms and dustpans and stuff and sweeping up and keeping the place clean. So the green areas is a welcome addition to the life here, being able to utilize those. Another thing I've noticed is in almost every city I went to, the Vietnamese people love lights. It's been very colorful. It gives it a festive attitude, a festive environment overall. And these cities have LED lights and lights everywhere that are very colorful. So I always feel festive and light and energetic when I'm in any of these cities. One of the things that's a detractor for some people who are thinking about retirement, maybe even early retirement in Southeast Asia and thinking about Thailand, is the visa situation. It's difficult to stay long-term in Thailand unless you meet the requirements of a certain visa. Now, retirement extension for Thailand, you're going to have to be over 50 years old. You're going to have 800,000 baht in the bank, or the equivalent in income, or a combination of the two. Well, guess what? If you're American, they just approved the one-year visa, so multiple entry for Americans. So if you're American, you can come over and hang out for 1 year and come and go as you please. Another thing I think of is an upside is the written language here. The written language, it's Romanized, so it's going to be easier for you to adapt to coming over. It's still a tonal language, so trying to speak it is going to be difficult, just like Thai language. But when you're thinking about understanding signage and menus and things like that, you'll be able to recognize the words much easier because they're Romanized. So that's another plus, a good thing. Another plus is multi-point hot water systems. This is great. I've found this to be pervasive throughout the country as well. What do I mean by multi-point? Well, usually over in Thailand, you'll have an on-demand hot water heater that's usually electric. So you turn on your shower and you get some hot water. Here, but you don't have it in other places. Here, that's a single point. Here, you actually have multi-point hot water heaters, which means not only do you have it in your shower when you take a shower, but you also have it in the sinks as well. They run another point to the sink, so you got hot water in the sink. Most of us have gotten used to, if you're living here long term, most of us have gotten used to not having hot water to wash dishes or in the sink when you're shaving and stuff like that, unless you add another point just specifically for that area. But here, multi-point, we have hot water galore. What can I say? You gotta love the coffee. Did you know Vietnam is the second largest coffee producer in the world? You probably already knew that because I mentioned it in a previous video. But this is really great. Now, it's Robusta beans, which are a little bit different than Arabica beans. So it's a little bit more strong. It's stronger. It's more robust. Anyway, but coffee is a serious pastime here. Drinking coffee and drinking green tea. You almost always get served tea when you sit down someplace, which we've experienced all throughout our trip. So these are really great things for me as a coffee lover as well. So let's talk food in Vietnam as one of the good things. First of all, Vietnamese cuisine is great. I really love it. But I like noodles. You know, I like eating noodles. So noodles is a bigger part of the diet here than, say, rice. But the noodles are made from rice, so rice is still grown, and it's a big thing here. Another thing that's really cool about the place is a lot of Vietnamese people actually eat vegetarian meals once or twice a week. So on almost every menu that you go into a restaurant, you'll see vegetarian entrees on the menu. So if you're vegetarian or you're thinking about becoming more healthy, eating a vegetarian diet or whatever, you're going to find that here, which is really a great thing. While we're talking about food, another great thing is everywhere you see fruit for sale. It used to be that way in Thailand. Now it's getting more and more difficult because it used to be the preferred snack of choice in Thailand, and now it's Lay's potato chips and snacks, processed food. But here you can still find fruit almost everywhere, and there's little businesses set up to make you smoothies. Smoothies are very popular here, and a lot of them have yogurt in as well, which is good because of the probiotics. And most of those places, guess what? They also have a juice extractor as well. So not only can you get a smoothie blended up with ice or whatever, but you can also get fresh juices. This is really a cool thing, really healthy. Now you can find those sporadically. They've become a little bit more popular in Thailand, but this is a positive thing in my opinion. Another thing is, I've noticed is really a great thing, is the young people. Hello, how are you? Can you speak English? Speak English? Yeah? Wow, very good. Do you like the park? You like here? Anyway, what I've noticed is the older people, the older generation, really hard to get to know. You ask for prices, you ask for directions or something, they're not really that helpful, especially if they're not speaking English. I don't know if that's the issue or what, but I found them not to be so friendly. In different cities, they were a little bit more friendly, but young people are great. They speak English really well, they're very friendly. So this is a big plus for this country. And I'm telling you, if Vietnam in the next 10 years is a reflection of what I've seen in the younger people here, being friendly and being able to speak English, I'm telling you, Vietnam has a really bright future. What are you eating? What is this? What is it?
Cốc.
Cup?
Cốc.
Cup?
Cốc.
Cup?
Cốc.
Cup? What is it?
Cốc.
Gop?
Cốc.
Gop? No. What is it? Oh no! Oh no! Do we have some water? Water? No. Oh, sorry.
Không sao, không sao.
Okay, eat the whole thing? Eat it all?
Đưa đi ăn.
Huh?
Okay. Good.
Very good. What is it? Does it have a name in English? No. No, you eat it. It's okay. Very good. It's spicy and sweet and sour. Very good. Gop? Gop? How do you say it? Gop? Thank you. The young people here are incredibly friendly. Very nice. A great example of what I've been talking about. Anyway, I wanted to mention one other thing that I think is not so good. And that wasn't it. That was really good. And a great encounter with people here. And this reflects a lot of the experience I've had while I've been here with the younger people. And the lady next to me is sort of an example of what I've encountered with older people. They don't speak English. They're not as open to communicating and having, and that's to be expected. I can understand, especially when I'm as tall as I am and I'm trying to talk to them in a language they don't understand. It'd be a little intimidating, so I understand all that. But one of the other things I wanted to mention that I think is a good thing here is if you look around and just like take the video and show around here. One thing you're going to notice, if you did this in Thailand, anywhere at the beaches, even around restaurants and businesses and stuff like that, one of the things you'd be seeing as she does this, you would see what I call soy dogs. Now, soy dogs is not a hot dog that you get in a vegetarian restaurant. A soy dog is actually soys in Thai language. Soys are small streets or lanes. And the dogs, the street dogs, I call soy dogs. Well, because of the Buddhist religion, they allow these dogs to proliferate. There's packs of them everywhere. And they're mangy, they're not healthy animals, and they're fed occasionally by the people that want to do something good. They give them some scraps of food and stuff like that. In restaurants, they'll be sitting at your feet and stuff. They're not really a good thing. I think they're unhygienic. But because of the Buddhist religion, they allow them, they don't get rid of them. Now, in Vietnam, you don't see them. Why? Well, that's a good question. Why? Could it be they have an animal control program? Maybe. Could it be that they spade their animals so they don't reproduce? I don't know. Could it be in the north?
They eat the dog.
I don't know. There are actually markets and restaurants that specialize in the animals, so that might be the issue. But whatever it is, it's sort of a welcome relief not to have those street dogs around begging constantly wherever you are. So that's really a great thing, I think. Another really cool thing for me has been the architecture. The Indochina era of Vietnam, where it had the French occupation here, really made a cool difference to me. It is very, very nice to see the architecture of the older buildings with the French colonial architecture and stuff like that. Because in the cities in Thailand, comparing Thailand, it's just cement buildings going up. They really have no character at all, and a lot of times the painting and maintenance doesn't get done, so it's sort of a dreary kind of dull kind of feel. But here, this architecture is really cool. Combined with the trees they left up is great because it creates a really nice ambiance. So giving equal time, let's talk about the bad things. What do I not like about Vietnam? Well, one is the thing about keeping the passport. The other thing is about a little bit older people. But we'll stick with the passport issue first. So the passport, every time you check into a hotel, they want to keep your passport. Now, I actually asked one hotel I stayed at, or a guest house, they actually made a copy of the passport and handed it back to me. And this only happened one time. So I actually asked them, is it okay if I gave you a copy of the passport? And they said, yeah, that would be fine. But you'd also have to have a copy of your visa with the amount of time you're able to stay, because the police are going to want to see that when they check with the hotel. Now, here we got a great example of older people and younger people. Hello, how are you? Even though they don't speak English, most people are very friendly. And I want to show you actually, I was going to do something here and give you an example, because there was actually a younger person squatting next to Nat while she was doing this video and hanging out. The young people here are great. The young people are really good. Vietnam has a very bright future, I can tell you that. So anyway, back to the bad thing was about the passports. Keeping the passport, not a good thing for me. Always been hesitant to give up my passport for renting a motorbike or anything, so that not so cool. Let's talk being able to rent motorbikes and licensing and parking and things like that. Transportation in this way. It's a negative thing to me because one is you have to have an international driver's permit. It's more difficult in Thailand to get a driver's license here. It's not that easy. And anytime you want to park, you're going to have to pay. Or maybe tip out the person that watches it. It's sort of like when I lived in Costa Rica. You always have to pay security. You have to pay security to watch your house. You have to pay security when you go to park the car. It's sort of the same thing here with parking. When you go to park, you either got to park in front of the business that you're using, and then you might not have to pay. But if you have to park anywhere else, you're either going to have to tip out the person or you're going to have to pay. Let's talk theft, petty theft especially. You got to be really careful with your stuff here. You'll notice that motorbikes that are parked, they never leave their helmets on the bike. I've actually been with people and done it myself where I parked my motorbike and wanted to leave the helmet, and people will say, no, don't do that. Put the helmet under the seat and lock it. So petty theft is really a problem here. In Thailand, I'll leave my phone or something sitting on the table while I eat. I've been told don't really do that. A lady just stopped me, and you've probably seen in the video, and told me to zip up my pocket. She saw my cargo pocket open and was afraid my phone would get stolen out of the thing. So she said, zip up your pocket. So petty theft is not so good here. Let's talk about my biggest negative of Vietnam. That is the driving and the horn honking. I thought it was bad in Thailand, the driving habits. Here they put Thais to shame. The laws are not even suggestions. You know, red lights, people just blow through them, even in packs of 5, they'll just go through a red light. This is not a good thing. It's going to be very dangerous for you to come over and drive. Luckily, taxis are cheap here. You'd be able to take taxis around. That would be a good thing. Taxis are everywhere. Not a problem, and they're inexpensive. But driving is an issue. You have to be really on your A game. Even walking around, you got to have your head on a swivel because traffic's coming at you from every direction. You do not have any right of way as a pedestrian. And the horn honking, the difference between here and, say, the West we drive defensively. The horn honking is part of the aggressive driving style here. They don't drive defensively, they drive aggressively, and it's your obligation for your own safety to get out of the way. And the weird thing is, with this horn honking, so many people are honking horns, you don't have any idea who's honking and who. If they're honking you, honking to somebody else, it's just a cacophony of noise. So this, to me, is a negative. Okay, because Vietnam is not a Buddhist country, say like Thailand, there's a lot of cultural differences. In Thai society, there's certain things that the head is the most revered area of the body, so you don't put your hand on little kids' heads or touch people on the head. The feet are the dirtiest part of the body, so you don't cross your legs and put your soles pointing at people. You don't do any of that. So there's a lot of faux pas you need to worry about. Whereas in Vietnam, you don't have so many, so there's less to worry about. One thing that might be good or bad is that's the weather. But the cool thing about Vietnam is there's cool areas and there's warm areas. But it's a Southeast Asian country. The latitude is only about 16. The center of the country is only about 16 degrees above the equator. So it's probably going to be pretty warm for you. Is that a good or a bad thing? Well, it's both. If you're coming from northern climate where you said, I'm sick of snow, I'm sick of cold weather, this would be awesome. If you're coming from someplace where you've already been hot all your life and you say, I really want some cooler weather, then you're going to have to either find one of these places that's a little bit cooler, or you might be a little bit uncomfortable. Another good or bad thing is going to be convenience stores here. In the bigger cities, Saigon and Hanoi, you have a few convenience stores, chain convenience stores. So it makes it easier to find some of those things that you need that are convenience items, toothpaste, combs, soups, toiletries, some snacks and things like that. It might be a little easier for you to find in the bigger cities because of these convenience stores. For the rest of the country, they're almost non-existent. So you're going to have to get all your convenience items from little mom and pop stores, which they have a limited supply depending on what they think would sell. So is this a good or a bad thing? Well, it's great you don't have convenience stores everywhere. Heck, there's 7-Elevens every 100 meters in Thailand in some places. And so here, it gives that mom and pop feel to the place, which I think is actually a really cool thing. Another thing that might be a good or a bad thing is the whole smoking issue. There's less smoking laws here, like there are in Thailand and in the West. Due to secondhand smoke, they enacted a lot of laws about smoking in public places. That's okay, go ahead. Smoking in public places. And so in Thailand, you're probably smoke-free in most of the places you're going to go into, especially restaurants and places you might want to have a drink or something like that. In Vietnam, they don't have those. If they do have them, they're not being used. Maybe it's like the traffic laws. I don't know. Maybe there are non-smoking laws. But anyway, so you might be seeing in restaurants, you're going to have to encounter the smoke around you, that secondhand smoke. So is that a good or bad thing? Well, if you're a smoker, it's probably a good thing. If you're a non-smoker, it's probably a bad thing. So there are good and bad things about here as well. So what's my general impression? Well, as I traveled around, it seemed to me that the older people were a little bit less friendly than younger people. But there's exceptions to that everywhere. Here I am in the capital, and I've encountered friendly people. How are you today? How are you today? So I've encountered friendly people that were a little bit older, but the young people, incredible. They're really the future of Vietnam, in my opinion. And so they speak English. They're not afraid at all to try and speak. really cool. Now in Thailand, again, comparing the students, I actually taught English for 4 years in Thailand. The students were afraid to speak of losing face and making a mistake. Here, that doesn't seem to be the issue at all. Younger people are more than willing to try and speak to you in English, and they're very friendly and not shy. And so, to me, overall, this has been an incredible trip. It was a place I really wanted to see. I really wanted to get over here. There's no telling what's ever going to happen in any of these countries as far as the future and for expats or retirees to live. So understanding that Vietnam is a great option, which if you've been watching these series from the beginning, you'll know when I first got here, I was really disappointed. Horn honking was getting to me really bad, which it still does. But the attitude of the people and the vendors where you couldn't ask for anything, it was an issue. It's still an issue, but if you find vendors or find people selling stuff that's younger, it's not an issue. The country is beautiful. I enjoyed the food. I really enjoyed my time here. I can see when it's hot and smoky in Thailand, coming over here and spending time. It might even be a future retirement place for me to live. I really think you should come out and experience this. I think you should practice up on reading maybe Vietnamese so you can understand some of the things. I might even get some resources for you all to do that. But I've loved my time here. I look forward to coming back. And so thanks for coming along with us on this trip. It's been a pleasure. It's been an adventure. Sorry the video started out a little bit slow, but we were traveling so much. I was trying to get so much footage that we didn't have time to edit it and put it up. So thanks for coming along with us. It's from Vietnam. This is JC and Nat signing off. And my Vietnamese friends that I met when I was here, I want to say thank you to some great people. Take care. And remember, when it comes to retiring in Southeast Asia, there's always an option. Well, our trip is getting ready to come to a close, and I want to address a couple issues that I had mentioned earlier on in our series on Vietnam. And that is, everybody that had come over told me, every financial transaction is suspect to either being overcharged or underchanged. Another thing I was told was that people up in the north around Hanoi were much less friendly. I wanted to address those two things before I left and before we wrapped up this series. People up in Hanoi have actually been really friendly, and I'm going to miss some of the relationships. I stayed at the Serenity Hotel, which the people were just phenomenal, very, very friendly. And so maybe it was just at this point in the trip, I started to only deal with people that I knew would be more friendly, which were younger people, and avoided the grouchy vendors. Not sure. But people have been really friendly up here. And another thing was the money. Vietnam had triple-digit inflation at one time, and so their money has lots of zeros. It's not uncommon to eat a meal and have a bill of 130, 200,000 dong. And so, thank you. And so that's not uncommon. And you can check out of a hotel and have a bill of 3-4 million dong. And so this is very common. Well, all these bills start to look familiar. All these zeros, you need to look at, the difference between 110,000 is 1 0, and the zeros start all running together. And so it's really a challenge, and I can see where it would be an opportunity for people to take advantage, but that wasn't what I experienced. All the vendors that I ever dealt with in restaurants and everything else, when they'd give me the bill and they would see that I was stumbling over finding which bills to give them for the right amount, they would actually reach over politely and take out the bills and hold them up to me and show me what they took out. And they wouldn't take the money until I told them it was okay. And there were times I'd actually want to leave a tip in a restaurant or something, and I would pay the bill, and I'd go to walk out, leaving the change intentionally. And they would come after me, holding up the money, saying, hey, you left the money, And some of them wouldn't even take the tip. They didn't want it. So that was the issue about the money. I didn't experience it at all. These people have been very, very warm to me, the younger ones, very friendly and very helpful. And I just wanted to mention that and address that before we finish this, because I started out on a real pessimistic note and being aware of some of these issues. And so, just like everything else in life, we sort of get what we look for. And so at the beginning, I was sort of probably seeing more of that because I was looking for it. But overall, it's been a great experience, and I just wanted to pass this on.
In the back, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Well, Miss Nat, we've completed our trip. We're getting ready to head back to Thailand. So what did you think about Vietnam? Đi mạc. Very good, huh?
People, young people, very good.
Young people are good, yeah.
Friendly
Friendly.
and natural.
Natural, yeah. A lot of natural area, green area, huh? Yeah.
Food very good.
Yeah, we like the food. You like sugarcane juice?
Yeah, sugar cane, bánh chiao,
Bánh xiao, that was good.
phở,
The pho soup,
meat.
Papaya.
Yeah, papaya.
Spring roll. Spring roll, yeah, all those are good. Yak up Mamai, you want to come back sometime?
Yeah, I want to come back cool.
Yeah?
Dalat,
It's cool,
I like
yeah,
Dalat.
it's cool. When I first came to Thailand, I was looking for some place maybe to move, a new country to live in, and there was 3 criteria for moving. One was it had to be good food, has to be good value, not expensive, not paying, and people had to be friendly. And they call them chai di, and so I thought when I was coming to Vietnam that maybe it was going to be cheap. I know I like the food, but I wasn't sure about the people. But having been here, I really enjoyed my time here, and I enjoyed the people that we met that were friendly. And so I think it's a good place to come back to. I also think it's a great place to retire. I think if you think about old people and where they want to live, there is probably 3 countries in Asia, Southeast Asia, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand. And if I had to put where Vietnam fits in this list, I think Thailand's changed a lot in the last 15 years. Now a lot of cars, a lot of money, Khon Ruai, not so friendly too. The rich people are not so friendly in Thailand. They think they're better than other people. Where Vietnam's still sort of the way Thailand was 15 years before. So I would have to rate Vietnam and Thailand maybe at the same level for a place that's good to live, different places in Vietnam, and Cambodia third. Before I said Cambodia easy for the visa, and it was a good place. Now, yeah, it might be easy for the visa, but the crime is higher, the people are poor, It's more dirty than here. This is clean, So anyway, yeah, I'd put Thailand and Vietnam on the same level. People who want to retire, come live over here, should check out Vietnam, right? Yeah, so there you go. So we're off back to our homeland of Thailand, and yeah, I already want to come back sometime, I remember when I left Thailand the first time, I guess it was about the 3rd trip to Thailand, and I felt like Thailand was my home, and I was going back to America, and I felt like I was leaving home, going by Tiao, go travel. So I said, I have to come live in Thailand. It feels like home. I sort of feel that way this time, that I already miss Kitun Lao, miss Vietnam already. And it feels very like a home. I feel comfortable here. I feel comfortable here now, So anyway, here we go. We're out of here. JC and Nat, remember when it comes to places to retire, there's always an option. That's right. See ya, JC and Nat out. Bye, Vietnam.